Good morning. I'm gonna change the thingy on the background. Also, my lights are still on. I didn't even realize. Alexa, good night.
Okay.
Alright. Oh my gosh, why are they always dirty? They're not the right script either. I just got new ones. They're not here yet, obviously. I wanted to know if you wore red for Chinese New Year. I didn't. I didn't even know it was Chinese New Year. I just wore red because it's like one of my favorite colors to wear. I just gravitated towards it. I was like, I'm gonna wear this today. Is it the Chinese New Year today? Good morning, everybody. We had no hot water in my building all weekend. Luckily, like, it didn't really affect us until yesterday morning, and the hot water was turned back on pretty quickly. But apparently, some people in my building had like no hot water all weekend and weren't able to shower or anything. I was like, that sucks. It looks good on you. Thank you. It was meant to be 100% Year of the Fire Horse. I knew that it was the Year of the Horse because I've seen a lot of stuff about that, but I didn't know it was today, technically. How come my calendar doesn't show me that? What's the date, y'all? The 17th? Oh, yeah, it says it right there. Chinese New Year. That's funny. It's also a new moon today, so double whammy. Hokily dokily. Why did I just want to say lumpily noodly? I don't know. Let's start with this. And then we're going to, we're going to cleanse, and then we're going to see what tarot deck we're going to use, and we will go from there. If I could find a lighter. All right. Spirit, ancestors, and angels of the light who love and support, let's cleanse this space of negativity. Had a panic attack this morning. That's not good. And an eclipse. Goddamn. Cleanse. I'm already seeing a tarot deck in my mind's eye. And it shouldn't shock y'all what deck I'm about to pull out. I also used this on yesterday's Instagram/Patreon readings, so there might be a message in there for someone as well. This has also just slowly become my favorite deck, let's be real. I was also in the process of editing a TikTok video that I'm going to upload at some point. I don't know when I'll upload it, but in the video, I channeled, last night took an L, but today I bounced back, which is by Big Sean. So this might tie into the videos that are going to be posted throughout the week this week for TikTok. One of them I just recorded earlier this morning too, so I'll probably post, I don't know, I'll either post it later today or I'll post it tomorrow. It really depends on how the rest of my day goes because I am pretty busy. I like to pre-record the content and then post it when Spirit tells me to post it because that's how it works over here. Anyway, why are there sesame seeds everywhere in my bedroom? That is the question that we should be asking me. It's because I drop them when I'll be playing Sims and I'll just be munching and all of a sudden I'm like this and then like 16 drop down. Anyway. All right. I'm going to give it one more minute and then we will start the reading. Did y'all know J. Cole announced his tour yesterday? The pre-sale starts for Americans, it starts today. For international, it's tomorrow. It's going to be a very busy concert music summer because Tame Impala and Joe Keery are going on tour together. J. Cole, this is also his last tour, allegedly. I don't think he's actually said that. I've just seen it on the internet. Yes. Wait, you're in Nova Scotia, right? You're not in Ontario. Are you in Ontario? If you're in Ontario, there is a Toronto show. There's also a Montreal show. I didn't look past that. So yeah, there's a Toronto show. That's what I thought. Okay. All right, let's see. What do we have for the collective here today? That was so fast. This is going to be a very niche thing that I'm about to say, and it's not going to resonate with everybody, okay? But do you know the man with the top hat? The top hat shadow man. If you know what that is, first of all, I'm sorry. Secondly, so he's not technically from dreams. He like appears to children mostly, and it's like children that are about to experience either some sort of trauma or something like majorly changing in their life. So like when I was like 6 or 7, I saw him in the doorway of my bedroom in my old house when we still lived here, and it was right before we moved down east. I've seen people see him before their parents got divorced, like from Reddit threads and things like that. But tell me why that doesn't look like that's what he looks like, except different, obviously. But it made me think of that, like, immediately. You were just thinking about the Shadow Man? Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what he's called. Thank you. So from what I've read on Reddit and other people that have experienced him, he usually comes to children, like I said, right before something intense. And, like, from my experience when he appeared in my room, he was never, like, scary. Like, I was a kid, so I was scared, of course, but, like, he wasn't harmful. He didn't do anything like that. He just stood there. And from what I've read on Reddit threads, it's the same experience for a lot of other people. He just like stood there. Anyway, that could be a message for someone in itself. Maybe you had the Shadow Man appear and you've been doubtful of whether or not that experience happened to you. And I'm here to tell you there are hundreds of thousands of people on Reddit that will tell you that they experienced the same thing. So, anywho, also the Statue of Liberty. No idea. And then we also, so this is I'm going to tell you what this is. The Magician, okay? Then we have the Knight of Wands. And then we have the Temperance in the reversed. So this energy, already very dominant in this stream today. I can feel a lot of y'all are not grounded. There could be a need for this collective to regulate your energy. You need to ground yourself. Much like, again, those TikToks. Much like the reading I posted that I haven't posted, but I recorded, the song Come Back to Earth by Mac Miller, there's a need for this collective to kind of like literally come back to earth. You need to ground yourself back to reality, recognize that you're in a little bit of a flighty energy right now. Take that however it resonates. It could be like you're in a flighty energy in your mind, or it could be like energetically. Maybe you're doing too much. Maybe you're rushing. You're trying to get like 17,000 things done in one day. I don't know. Okay, it's going to be different for everyone. I don't know why I knew you were going to say this. Probably because you in yourself know that you're a little bit unbalanced and you knew you were going to get called out on it. Immediately pulled to this, and I'm now hearing the all-seeing eye. I'm going to put the song in the chat, but I have to find it first. Please hold. Some of y'all, I don't know if you have ever gone to look at my Apple Music link. I have a link in my link tree for a playlist called Spiritual BBY. There could be something about that playlist that's important for this collective. I have not listened through that in a very long time. So, like, give a girl some credit where credit is due. There's probably some songs on there that should not be on there. Okay? But there could be something about that playlist that seems important, because that song is on it. The All-Seeing Eye. How do I share this from Apple Music? Copy link. All right, that should work. Did it work? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Something about that song could be important for someone. So what is intriguing to me is the Magician and the Knight of Wands have very similar, like, fiery energy. So oftentimes these two cards are an omen of inspired action. And I feel like this collective, not only are you being grounded to kind of, not only are you being guided to, like, ground yourself back to reality, but you're also being pulled towards taking action. I am hearing for a lot of you within your career path, there's something that you want to build. There's something you want to create for yourself. Some of you want to be like influencers. You want to have your own business. You want to like create something. I don't know. Take it how it fits. Okay. I did just see like a bakery or a restaurant as well for some of you. Because again, these are collective. I don't know how much I have to repeat that today, but that's going to come up a lot, I feel. So for some of you, there's something about like opening your own business, whether this is like a brick and mortar store or becoming an influencer, like I'd mentioned, or maybe opening up like a bakery or a diner of some sort, like a coffee shop. I don't know, all of the above. Like there's just something about wanting to do a venture that's a little bit non-conventional. So you want to go in a direction that might not be the standard for society. And I feel like this is something this collective has been a little bit triggered about, especially because of this energy here. So if you're not grounded in yourself, if you're not grounded in your daily life, if you are a little bit, like I said, flighty, you're not going to be able to create the things that you want to create in your 3D. This energy will actually block you from being focused, from being grounded, and from being able to build what it is you want to build. Okay, so I feel like that's where this energy is going to come into play. Something about that Moon's energy on this Magician card is also pulling me in. It's also in the background of this one too. I didn't even notice. The other thing I feel called to mention, which I feel like I say a lot lately, so there's that. But please remember that you can manifest until you're blue in the face. You can do all the manifestation practices, whether that's scripting or meditation or prayer or like, you can do it all. The 3-6-9 method, like all of it. But if you're not doing the work that's required to bring those manifestations in, i.e. regulating yourself, finding balance, etc., they're not going to come. Something about eggnog. I don't know, babes. I don't know. There's also something about this collective starting to recognize their resourcefulness. You need to recognize your own power, is what I just heard as well. Take that how it resonates. I'm also being pulled to the aspect of like this being like a statue. And it's making me think some of you might want to go to a museum. I also am hearing Greek, like a Greek statue. Hello. I feel like there's passion here. But there is a really big warning of not allowing. Okay, so the Knight of Wands is a really big omen to me of impulsive energy as well. Okay, so like I feel like this collective, because of how out of balance you are, because of the lack of groundedness is all I keep hearing. Okay, so because of this lack of groundedness, Spirit's saying like, hey, you need to be extra mindful of making impulsive decisions and doing something or creating something without really thinking it through or thinking about the potential consequences of that. Because Spirit's saying like you're in this energy where you have a lot of power, you have a lot of fire, you have a lot of creativity, you have a lot of passion, and you have the potential to create what it is that you want, but you're not in balance with yourself right now. And I feel like the lack of balance is actually causing you to be, I don't know how else to explain this, but they're literally showing me like a teeter-totter almost. It's like you're one side on the other, right? So Spirit's saying one of the things that you can do right now, because one of the beautiful things about this energy is you are shifting back into alignment, all right? This is an omen of realignment. So even though you might be a little bit out of balance, even though you're feeling, I'm hearing a little bit out of pocket, you are shifting into this energy where you're recognizing what still needs to be healed within you, because Temperance reversed is self-healing. B, you're looking at your imbalances in a way that I feel like you weren't able to do prior. And part of the reason that this is happening is because you want to create something, you want to build something. There's also like, I'm feeling pulled in so many different directions right now. Like for some reason I just got pulled to the astral dice and I was like, oh, I'm going to pull those. And like, it's like your ADHD brain could be ADHDing for those of you that are also ADHD. Others of you, this could just be like, you need to ground yourself. Okay. What else do we have, please, for this collective? Something about Winnie the Pooh. I don't know. I'm also seeing something about Aristotle. Which makes sense, because doesn't Aristotle have that, that quote, everything in moderation? Which is very temperance energy. Also, why am I hearing life is useless? Some of you could just be in a bit of a dark period in your mind, because once again, these are collective. So we have the Knight of Swords going on top of that Magician, the Four of Pentacles going on top of the Knight of Wands, and then the King of Pentacles on top of the Temperance reversed. Bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Cups. Can somebody please tell me what this looks like? Because every time I see it, it reminds me of like a video game or a movie. I'm leaning more towards a video game, but I cannot put my fucking finger on what it looks like. It reminds me of something, and maybe somebody can tell me what it reminds them of, and it will be the same. Mortal Kombat, thank you! Reminds me of a samurai. Yeah, that too. But it's definitely Mortal Kombat. Thank you so much. That was driving me absolutely crazy. Anyway, maybe that's important. Maybe playing video games could be important. Cleopatra. Ooh, I like that one too. It does give very Egyptian energy, so Cleopatra would align with that pretty well. This is even more confirmation of being mindful of impulsive energy, though. Like, this is traditionally the Knight of Swords, right? So it's like Spirit, especially because it's going on top of that Magician. Spirit's just like, hey, let's be mindful of our impulses. If you knew where my mind went, there's a reason. You've been playing Mortal Kombat? I haven't played that in so long. That was like one of my OG go-to games for the hottest minute of my life. Especially when they made it available online and you could like play your friends and stuff. Loved it. Honestly, that was probably one of the first few video games I ever played as a kid. I don't know why, but it reminds me of the White Walker, like the king from Game of Thrones. I've actually never seen that. I watched the first 5 seconds and I didn't like it. There's actually a new movie too. Interesting. All right, back to the reading, everybody. I feel as though, why did I just immediately hear that Shania Twain? I feel like a woman. Ba, 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 da, da, ba, ba. I'm so sorry. I am never going to watch Game of Thrones. It is not my cup of tea. I gave it the college try. I should say I watched more than 5 seconds of it because my ex was really into it. And he was like, you have to watch this or our relationship depends on it. So I was like, okay, bro, I'll try. And I hated it. It's not for me. It's just, I'm sorry. You can hate on me if you need to. I respect that. It's just not my kind of stuff. It's a little slow. It's a little dry. It also weirds me out that they are all fucking their cousins and shit. Like, I just can't. That's how I feel about Schitt's Creek. See, that's crazy, but I get it. Schitt's Creek's like one of my favorite shows. Rest in peace, Catherine O'Hara. That's so sad. Anyway, y'all, see, we're all getting distracted together. It's like, this reading is like on par because of the energy, right? Like, it's like, hey. So something about the roses in the background of this card could be important for some of you. Buying yourself flowers might be something to kind of like, you know, I don't know why I went like this, but it's like, it's how my brain went. It'll lift up your spirits, especially those of you that are feeling a little bit depressed lately. Those of you that are feeling a little bit like down and out, maybe you're feeling a little bit kind of like, I'm seeing like a trapped inside of a box kind of energy. Love this collective, LOL. Me too. I like the vibes here, guys. Yeah, just like treating yourself to something. If it's not buying yourself flowers, maybe it's like taking yourself on a little day date. I am seeing like a breakfast date. Miley's song been stuck in my head. Oh my god, I thought the same thing. I clearly am missing the beat here, y'all. What did I just hear? And if the beat little juke made it body yaddy 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 yaddy. Sorry, Megan Thee Stallion. There is like a really big action oriented energy though. Like, it's interesting. Like, I'm seeing two sides here, which would correlate to this, right? So I'm seeing throat chakra. I'm seeing two sides here. I'm seeing a side that's like very gotta get shit done, gotta go, gotta do it. And then I'm seeing this like snail, just like, you know, like this like slow ass moving energy. Perhaps that's part of what this collective needs to find balance with. You need to balance those dualities, those two sides of yourself, and recognize that one, being in a constant rush and constantly trying to get things done and constantly being like under fire and feeling like you have to be doing things all the time is usually an omen that you're avoiding something within yourself, at least in my experience. And two, if you're going too slow, if you're not moving quick enough, you're stagnating yourself, right? So like something about 22 on the timer there for the stream so far. Something about finding balance between those two sides of yourself is going to be very helpful for this collective over Mercury retrograde especially. I'm also sensing some sort of nostalgia energy here. Excuse me, confirmation. Love Megan Thee Stallion. I love Megan Thee Stallion too. You were listening to her all day yesterday. Love that. There's a Miley Cyrus song that says, I can buy myself flowers. Mercury retrograde starts on your birthday, I think. That's rough. To be so fair, though, it's already started. Like, the shadow period is, in my humble opinion, the shadow period of Mercury retrograde is way more intense than the actual retrograde itself. I find that my life is chaos 2 weeks before, especially the week before. And then it starts to kind of go like, when retrograde happens. That being said, I also have a different take on retrograde than most spiritual people. I think that it just brings a little bit of challenges, but it also is not that deep. People make it this like fear-based thing when in reality it's just a period of like communication blockages, some tech issues. Definitely read the fine print of anything you try to sign legally, but like other than that, it's don't buy any technology is one of the other ones I've heard. You know what else I'm being pulled to? This is kind of interesting. If you look at this image, there's like this brightness, there's like this take action, but this one is like a rest period. Like we're just chilling, which is even more confirmation of what I just said. Some of y'all need to be mindful and find a little bit more balance between those two sides of yourself. Now, with the Four of Pentacles here too, I'm about to call some of you out. I love you and I want you to know that I love you, okay? But some of you need to be more mindful with overspending. I'm seeing part of that like balance that's required. For some, yes, it definitely ties into like rushing and slowing down. But for others of you, this is like you get money and then you drop like a bill immediately. Like your bank account is completely drained or you don't spend any of it. There's something about balancing out that polarity, especially because the Four of Pentacles is usually an omen of saving. It's an omen of being a little bit more conservative with your finances and, I don't know, creating a little bit more security and structure for yourself. And for some of you, I feel like there's a part of your childhood or a chapter of your life, take it however it resonates, where you have been pretty struggling financially. Like there was poverty here, okay? And the poverty has triggered a scarcity mindset. So that scarcity mindset is probably putting you on one side or the other. It's putting you too extreme or too, you know what I'm saying? Like the example that they're giving me, I don't have anything in front of me that I can actually, you know what this was a birthday gift from Sephora, but let's say like, because this is the Tower brand, right? Like it's Tower 28. Some of you are like, well, I can't use that because it's expensive and it's a name brand. I have to save that for special occasions. That is your scarcity mindset. Your scarcity mindset is telling you, I can't use this thing because I can't afford to buy it again. And when you live in that mindset, you're gonna create that mindset. So what I feel like this collective needs to do is kind of push through that by challenging that narrative. So when you're like, well, I can't wear, or I can, like perfume, for example, is a prime example. I can't wear this like Valentino perfume because it's $200 a bottle and I have to save that for when I go on dates or when I go out or whatever. Who's to say you can't romanticize the rest of your life and do that all of the time? Because if you live in this narrative, you're never going to get it again. You're never going to get it again. Please, I've been overspending so much on whatnot. That makes sense. Oh my God, I've been doing that. I thrift too much. Had to get a new iPhone yesterday. Dropped your phone. Screen turned white. Tech issues for sure. Then yeah, all the exes start coming back. So in my lived experience from Mercury retrograde, if your exes start circling the block, it's because the lesson hasn't been fully learned. Just saying. Because like the last couple of retrogrades, not a single person bothered me. Not a single person bothered me. I just want to share that. Okay? Everything is romantic. Exactly. Romanticizing your life is what makes life more fun. To quote Justin Bieber, life is worth living. And when you romanticize it, it makes it worth it. I feel like no one ever comes back during retrograde, and I'm ever so great. Same. But it's probably because you and I both like are on the same wavelength. We've learned our lessons with those people. Sometimes though it's the other people. So like I do feel called to mention, just because like people circle the block doesn't necessarily mean like you haven't fully learned the lesson. Like maybe you've learned and you've detached, but the other person hasn't. You know what I mean? Especially if you choose not to re-engage. So if you choose not to communicate with them, then it's probable that you were like, I'm good, but that person's still stuck in the cycle. There's a really big emphasis on finances too, because we have this King of Pentacles here as well, and it's going underneath of that Temperance in the reversed. So for some of you, or most of you, take it how it fits, this imbalance could actually be your money. I'm sorry. I'm calling y'all out today. Yeah. And then we have that 9 of Swords that just came up inverted. We have the 7 of Wands. Hello? Did y'all see the way that went? And then we have the Sun in the reversed. Okay. Something about Scorpio energy, Aries energy, and Cancer energy. This one of my astral dice keeps playing me in. Pisces also, and Gemini. I'm also seeing something really important about an opal crystal. I feel like some of y'all either need to look up its properties. So this is very specific because we just talked about overspending. Do not go out and buy one, okay? Please just look up their properties, their healing opportunities. See if it resonates with you. If that resonates with you, then maybe go look into purchasing some sort of stone for it. Others of you, I'm seeing like you're going to look it up. It's going to resonate. You're going to forget about it. And then you're going to be at a random store, like a thrift store or a metaphysical shop. I'm leaning more towards a thrift shop, and you're going to find some sort of opal piece that's like either like home decor or jewelry for some of you. Whatever that is, it's meant to be purchased from you. If the properties resonate with you, if what opal crystal does for like spiritual stuff, if that aligns, then yeah. Scorpio, Moon, Sun, and Cancer rising. Valid. That's an intense whammy. You must be very in tune with your emotions. So I don't even know where to start, and I feel like that's a message in itself. Some of y'all are definitely in you're in a period of healing, okay? And again, like I do have readings to post on TikTok in the next like week, and one of them, the Sun came up in the reverse position, and in that reading, it was about like relapsing, whether this is like a relapse in substance or if it's a relapse in a pattern. Take it however it resonates, okay? But I feel like This being in both readings is important. So the sun in the reverse position is usually a huge indication to me of inner child energy. Your inner child could be feeling a little bit down, feeling a little bit like low vibe, if you will. I feel like there's a need for this collective to be a little bit more playful in their life. You're bored, okay? Like, to put it lightly, you're bored and it's showing, okay? You need to do something that kind of like boosts your joy, boosts some dopamine in your life, which is why I said treat yourself to something. It's like we talked about already, like buying yourself flowers, taking yourself on a little date, going for a walk in the park. I don't know. Whatever works for you, but there's something about doing something for yourself right now that's really going to help this collective feel a little bit more secure, first of all, and also it's going to boost some dopamine because this collective needs it. You need a dopamine boost. And I'm not talking about fake dopamine that you get from addictions and rushes and social media. I'm talking about real dopamine that lingers. Mic drop. I don't know why I just saw that. You lost your opal ring this past week. The stone fell off. That means it served its purpose. Though it's sad, that means it served its purpose. Also, something about this pyramid keeps pulling me in. There could be something about that. I also just saw a horse in my mind's eye, and then I saw Chopper from One Piece, for those of you that also watch One Piece. I know he's a reindeer. I'm going to 2 concerts by myself for the first time ever, girl. I'm scared. That's so exciting. Don't be scared. You're going to have a super fun time. I am going to a concert by myself as well this summer because why not? And then I have like 3 more I have to go to because it's an insane music summer for Toronto. Anyhoozle, like J. Cole's coming, Tame Impala and Joe Keery, MGK. Those are just a few. The year of the horse just started. We talked about that in the beginning of the stream today. So maybe that's what that was about. Maybe it's about the year of the horse. But Chopper's a reindeer. Like, if you watch One Piece, he's super adorable. But he's a reindeer. So I'm like, why am I seeing him when I'm talking about a horse? I don't know. He's also a doctor. So perhaps like that. And he was trained under a witch. For those of you that have never watched One Piece, first of all, if you like anime, highly recommend it. It's super funny. But Chopper is a reindeer doctor who like can morph into like 7 different like things. Like, he has transitions, if you will. And he was trained by a witch who is 139 years old. So there could be something about his whole plot line that's important. I don't know. I'll be seeing Olivia Dean in Toronto this summer. I've never been to Canada before. Ooh, that's exciting. Canada's amazing. You're going to love it here. Especially if you are coming from the States, it's going to be a nice little change of pace for you. So we also have this 7 of Wands, right, in the dead center of this reading too. So how I have these laid out, I wish y'all could see them, but we have the Sun in the reverse going on top of the Magician and the Knight of Swords. Then we have the 7 of Wands going on top of the Knight of Wands and the 4 of Pentacles. And then that 9 of Swords reversed is on top of Temperance reverse and the King of Pentacles. So a lot of you, I'm being brought back to what I mentioned about your finances. You're definitely being challenged when it comes to your financial stability. It's almost like this collective. It's like, I'm hearing it's kind of cheeky of spirit because they're just like, oh yeah, you think you've created stability, you think you've cultivated abundance for yourself, but have you really? But have you really? But have you really? I don't know why they made me do that, but they were like, this is how it is. And I feel like this is partly because this collective, you need to see the part of you that keeps falling into a cycle with your money, because I feel like there's a really big emphasis on this collective. You either feel like you're broke or you feel like you're going paycheck to paycheck a lot. And this is because you keep overspending. You keep buying shit that you don't need, or you're overspending on your groceries, or you're just being frivolous with like takeout and going out to eat a lot. I don't know. There's just something about your finances and you being the problem. And I love you, which just made me think of Guess I'm the Problem and your miss never do no wrong. I don't like Morgan Wallen at all, but there's a reason I heard that song. Really, really bad Kevin Gates. I haven't heard that in forever. Oh my God. Yeah, I feel like this collective, like it's accountability hour, baby. I know it sucks. It's accountability hour. It's spirit saying, hey man, which just made me think of that Sabrina Carpenter song. Hey man. Bum, 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 bum. On another side, though, I do feel like whatever this is about for you, whether this is like, for some of you, this is definitely about your finances. Others of you, this could be about like a pattern in your romantic history or your friendships, even to your home life. I don't know. Take it how it resonates. These are collective. Why am I saying that so much today to y'all? Anyway, something about whatever you're working through, they're showing me this visual of like a sword cutting through fog and like light shining out, which is interesting. And that's what I'm seeing when I'm looking at this Nine of Swords in the reversed. And the Nine of Swords in reversed, remember, y'all, it's on top of that Temperance reversed and the King of Pentacles. So even though you're feeling a little bit backed into a corner, even though you're feeling a little bit down and out, even though you're feeling challenged, you're feeling like what you're trying to build and create isn't coming forward, I do really feel that things are shifting in a positive direction for you into a more balanced position when it comes to your finances and your stability. There is such a big emphasis for this collective around that. Some of you are in a bit of a transition period when it comes to your career. Super relatable. And this could be triggering an old pattern or an old narrative in your mind when it comes to your finances. So for some of you, it's not quite as extreme as like you're overspending. You could have already overcome that cycle or you never had it, one of the two. But there is something about how like things are shifting for you. So your pockets could be a little bit tighter, or you could just be not attracting as much abundance as you're used to, or there's just some sort of a shift here that's causing you to feel really out of balance and really triggered in your finances and your stability. Others of you, this is moving. Bless me, confirmation. So for some of you, this is not like your finances. It's more like you're moving house. So you're moving to a new place, or you have to move, like something unexpected could have happened in your current environment. Thank you. There's just something about a shift in the energy that's poking at a part of your sense of safety and your security, which is your root chakra. And I wore red today. Anyway, however, there are still some fears here. Deep-seated too, if I'm real honest. There's some fears surrounding your past is what I just heard for a lot of you, especially those of you that have poverty trauma, or you experienced a period of your life where you were stuck financially. Take that how it resonates, okay? But something is shifting in a really positive way, because the Nine of Swords reversed, even though it does indicate some deep-seated fears and inner turmoil, it also shows that you're releasing a lot of the worry and anxiety and triggers from the past. And I feel like that's what this is about. Because remember in the beginning, I talked about how Temperance in the reverse position is usually realignment. It's self-healing. And I feel like this is exactly what's happening for this collective. On a side note, some sort of secret has been revealed, or it's about to be. This could be a past secret. I did just hear some of you, this is a family secret. Others of you, it's a romantic one. I don't know. And with that, we're going to move into another deck, because I'm actually hearing these might end up being like a general career and then romance or something like that. So that would have been more career focused. So let's see what's next. All right, so they're pulling me to this deck. They showed me this one in my mind's eye, and then this one. So this one's probably going to be like shadow work, because this is my shadow work deck. This one is going to be the love focused one, because obviously it is my sexual tarot. And the best part about being on Twitch, not only do I not have to keep this PG, I can show y'all the images without being worried about this shit being taken down. So that's fun. Pretty sure, at least. I've seen some women on here doing some weird shit, so. I am going to cleanse this deck, though. Speaking of love, did everyone have a good Valentine's Day? Love this deck. I do too, actually. I'm also, since I have that sage going, I am going to cleanse this one while we have it. My nose is itchy. All right. Excited to see the full cards. Yeah, I suppose people on TikTok have never seen the full cards if they don't own the deck themselves. All right. Spirit, what do we have for the collective for love? What is the focus for love? Okay, I kind of knew that was coming. Y'all are gonna hate me. And I feel like 6 eye rolls. It's a self-love focus right now. I will put it in the chat in a second. I took myself shopping for Valentine's, got some new things for your bathroom, shifted to a red theme instead of neutrals. Love that. All right, so we have the 8 of Wands as the bottom of the deck energy, which always pulls me to the ladder and the intensity of the passion between the two of them. So even though I do feel like this collective is currently in a period of introspection or self-love focus, self-loving energy, there is something positive coming towards you. Sexual tarot deck. I'm just going to grab the link for you guys because somebody asked what this deck was. Ooh, that's mini. I don't think you want the mini. I also cannot get that stupid Morgan Wallen song out of my head. Yes, I'm the problem. And your miss never do no wrong if I'm so awful. Why'd you stick around this long? Okay, well, I can only find the mini, so I'll at least send it to you and you'll have the name. I'll send it in the chat here. I don't really know what the mini size would be either. There is an excellent YouTube video that does a card tour per card. Ooh, good to know. That just made me think of another Sabrina Carpenter song. Do you want the house tour? I have ADHD. So if you say 2 words together that remind me of something, my brain is going to immediately jump to that. All right. So, I'm going to show you guys the cards. That just went reversed. I'm going to keep it in the reversed. We have the 9 of Wands reversed. Same, it's okay. I feel like most people are like that. We also have the 3 of Pentacles reversed. We have the 9 of Swords coming up in the upright position in this spread. Something about that black cat immediately just pulled me in, which just, again, brain association, just made me think of Black Cat by Mayday Parade. Then we have the Emperor. We have the Queen of Wands. And then we have the Death card. Something about that, like, that's intense. That's intense. So there is like, this is interesting because like those of you that are on the Discord server would have already seen someone in the chat sending that winds in the east thing, storms coming in or whatever from Mary Poppins. That just immediately came to my mind for this spread. So I don't know what the heck that's about, but there could be some sort of like, now they're showing me like something blowing, like blowing towards you. It's almost like something's coming in, something's coming to light. Take that however it resonates, of course. I do want some of y'all to be mindful of your internal energy right now though, because I do feel like with this here, so the 9 of Wands in the reverse position, to me, it's almost always an omen of defensiveness and paranoia. There's something about this collective that needs to kind of go inward and reflect upon where you might be projecting the narratives, either of your past or even that energy into your present reality, okay? I also feel like this confirms that there's some sort of struggle in this energy here. Something is making this collective feel a little bit like, they're showing me this visual of someone backed into a corner. So like you're feeling a little bit trapped. You're feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling bound. You're feeling anxious. And I feel like it's actually blocking something from coming in for this collective. Because like this showed up in the reverse position, which is the 3 of Pentacles. But in the upright position, it's usually an omen of working together. It's teamwork. It's collaboration. It's building and growing. And because this Emperor is here, I do feel like there is a potential for that for this collective. But there's something standing in the way of it. So it's almost like I'm honestly hearing for a lot of you, you're your own worst enemy right now. But like there's something you need to kind of step out of in order to step into something else, if that makes sense. Yeah, because we also have the death card here too. There is some sort of an ending. For some of you, this ending is a mindset because the Nine of Swords is directly above that death card. Others of you, this is a relationship or a job. I don't know. Take it how it resonates. Because this is the love focus portion of today's reading, I do feel like for the majority of you, this is either a pattern from your past that has your mind affected, or it is a relationship that you're currently recognizing does not align with you anymore. It doesn't resonate with your soul. Regardless of where you land in this, there is a part of this group that needs to be more honest about how they're feeling overwhelmed emotionally because they're not unpacking whatever this is representing. So part of the reason you're feeling a little bit bound in your current reality is because you're not allowing yourself to feel what needs to be felt. I also immediately just saw something about being constipated. So there could be something about being constipated. The song Shelter from the Storm by Bob Dylan, that's been significant. Interesting. Something about, like, I keep hearing, like, something in the way. It's Nirvana. There's something in the way here, okay? And for a lot of you, I really do feel like this is more internalized than anything else. But for some, this definitely has to do with, like, a person you need to kind of recognize is not aligned with you. I feel like, especially with this energy here, like, the Three of Pentacles in reversed is an omen of disharmony. It's an omen of misalignment, of working alone and being in your own space and in your own energy. And I feel like this collective, there's two sides of this is what they're showing me. One side, you need to come to terms with the fact that you're trying to make it work with something or someone that just doesn't align with you anymore. Other side of this, you're projecting your past onto your present. So we have this, like, Nine of Wands in the reverse position, right? So because of that being right next to this Three of Pentacles, some of you keep questioning whether something's in alignment with you, whether there's disharmony here, because you're paranoid and you're projecting your past trauma into your present reality. So Spirit's asking you to kind of take a step back and challenge that narrative. Something needs to close here. Something needs to end. It needs to come to completion. And that's when this is going to come forward. So you have the Queen of Wands and the Emperor. First and foremost, can we just talk about this image on the Queen of Wands? There's something very symbolic about that. I feel like this collective, what you desire is someone who has this kind of energy, but also provides you with this level of obsession. That's what I'm feeling. Like, you want someone who can't take their eyes off you. You want someone who worships the ground you walk on, but is also very stable in themselves. You want someone that's powerful enough to take care of themselves, but also be obsessed with you, which is not a bad thing, by the way. But this collective, I feel like part of why you can't attract that is because you are still in this position here. You're still a little bit paranoid. You're still a little bit defensive. You're still a little bit bound, honestly. And I feel like until you acknowledge where that trigger is coming from, you're not going to be able to close this cycle completely. However, I do feel like this group is currently in the process of that because you are showing up as this Queen of Wands, right? So, like, the Queen of Wands to me is very passionate, very charismatic, very spiritually aligned, very beautiful. And I feel like the more you come to terms with that part of you, the more you shift into this energy of independence and internal power, the more you're actually recognizing what aligns and what doesn't, what fits and what's no longer fitting, what you need to let go of, what you need to make space for. And I feel like this is allowing a rebirth because at the end of the day, that's what the death card is. It's a rebirth. It might bring forward some endings. It might bring forward some change, but it's ultimately leading you towards being reborn and awakening. This collective is going through a really big transformation in their love life. Okay, like whether this is internally or externally, take it however it resonates. But this transformation is helping you transition into the version of you that you want to be. That's going to attract this kind of partner to you. So the Emperor, as we know, is divine masculine energy. However that resonates for you. It doesn't need to be the same for all of us, okay? But this is exactly what's going to come forward once you let go of this shit from your past. For a lot of you, I feel like you need to let go of your past relationships in order to recognize the energy that you want in your romantic life. Dude, I swear I saw something about, or something move in the background. Probably. I do have that going. In what direction? Sometimes people say they see my scream mask move. I do also have a lot of spirits in here. I'm so nonchalant about it. They're not harmful. I'm not worried. The unfazed probably made me... Well, what are you gonna do? Honestly, I have a lot of passed on friends and loved ones, and my animals are all gone now, so like I just don't even... One of my friends, my psychic, told me when he passed away in 2024, my psychic told me that he likes to mess with my stuff. He likes to like fuck with my shit, which makes a lot of sense because like we used to have prank wars. So he like messes with my animals when they were still alive. He messes with my lights sometimes. He fucks with my music a lot. I love him, but it drives me crazy. Especially because like sometimes it's when I'm in the shower and I can't like go change it, and I'm like, bro, like... And, like, I can see his, like, giant-ass smile, like, laughing, being like, oh, I got you back. To be so fair, once my ex and I flipped all his furniture upside down, and he called us freaking out, being like, because he thought his house was haunted, so he called us freaking out, and he was like, were you guys here? And we were like, no, we weren't. But, yeah, we were. All his patio furniture upside down. So I feel like it's just payback at this point. Forced cold shower is wild, literally. Do you communicate with past pets? I communicate with my past pets. But I've never really tried to communicate with a client's pet or anything. I do have a psychic that I would recommend literally to anyone for that kind of stuff. So if you want her contact information, you can just send me an email. Haunted mask confirmed. Potentially, but I bought it brand new at Shoppers, so I'd be surprised. Oh, that's cute. May he rest peacefully. He definitely is, but he's a little shit. It reminds me when in Jersey Shore they moved... Oh my god, I forgot they did that. All the outside furniture inside. I forgot all about that. Okay. So... Where are we at for time? I'm gonna slide these up. I also just realized I have to plug my shit in. So, I just hit myself in the face. That's fun. This is even more confirmation. We have the Six of Cups, which is now on top of that Nine of Wands in the reverse position. So what did I just say to y'all? You're allowing this defensive, paranoid energy affect your present, and this is coming from past trauma. For a lot of you, it's coming from past relationships or bullying trauma. I just heard on repeat. Because for some of you, this is not love, like romantic sense love. It's more platonic or familial or self-love, okay? But there's something about how you're allowing your past to affect your present. Look at how sad she looks in this image as well. I'm being really pulled to that. Something about painting or getting creative could be important for this collective. I also don't know why I just saw this, but I just saw an ankle monitor. You know what I mean? Like something about an ankle monitor. I don't... On a woman specifically, I have no idea. There could be something about being on house arrest or like being put on house arrest. And then we have this Five of Cups in the reverse position on top of this Three of Pentacles reversed. Lindsay Lohan here, stop it. I love how we can still connect with people when they're crossed over. Me too, but it's always really hard to start that. Like, I find that, like, after they first pass away, the initial impact of the grief and the loss is so big that, depending on the relationship, it's more challenging to connect with them on a spiritual level. Like, it took me almost a full year before I was able to connect with my friend because it hurt real hard. And the same with, like, my dog and stuff like that. This is, like, even more confirmation, though. Some of you need to feel something. Feel it to heal it is literally what I just heard. There is definitely some pain lingering in this collective's energy, which just immediately made me think of that 3 Days Grace song, which is literally called Pain. I feel like this group, you need to grieve all of the misalignment that you experienced in relationships, whether once again these are platonic or romantic or familial. Like, you need to feel your feelings surrounding, I'm hearing personal setbacks. I don't know what that means. Take it how it resonates for this group. But like, there's something about how you need to kind of process some of the misalignment and the disharmony in relationships that you experienced, and recognizing that part of that is because of a pattern in your trauma that led you towards these energies and these people. The other side of this, you need to not only process it and like, I'm literally seeing cry, like feel it. You also need to find forgiveness in your heart for allowing this energy into your space in the first place. Some of you could be holding on to a little bit of shame surrounding the amount of times that you knew something was out of alignment, but you still invested into it. And I feel like the more you forgive yourself for that, the more you recognize that, first of all, we all go down that path. That's how you learn to trust your intuition. Secondly, the more you forgive yourself for it, the more secure you're going to start to feel within you, and the more you're going to embrace this energy of that Queen of Wands, right? And I feel like this is also going to help this collective in a really big way to move on from the things that no longer align with you, that no longer resonate with your soul, which is going to help you to bring in this once again, okay? You have to let go of the past in order to make space for the present. I am being guided towards a channeled message that Aphrodite gave me a bajillion times before I met my boyfriend. Where is it? Oh my God. I found it. I was going to be like, I can't even find it. Real love cannot grow on the wreckage of the old. So it's almost like spirit, your spiritual guides, ancestors, whatever, they're cheekily again reminding you that in order to bring in the kind of love that you desire, the kind of love that you want, whatever that looks like, you cannot build it on a foundation of old energy. Which I know is going to ruffle some feathers, because I know a lot of people tend to be attached to their past partners, their exes, whatever, but that's your codependency, that's your attachment issues. It's not the part of you that wants real love. The part of you that wants real love is the part of you that's screaming from the rooftops what you deserve, but that's the part of you that I feel like you've been silencing for the majority of your life, and that in itself is what needs to be acknowledged, worked on, and released. You are worthy of real love. I'm going to say it again. You are worthy of real love. The way my heart chakra just went like that. Also, speaking as someone who was in this cycle, I regret not letting go of all of that shit sooner. Because if I would have met my partner sooner. And I feel like some of you need to hear that. So, anyway. This is even more indication to me that like you're blocking something from coming through. Okay. Also, if we look at this in the upright position, look at how much passion is here. Look at how much chemistry, look at how connected they are emotionally, how much love is oozing off of this card. This is what you want. But all you've ever known is inconsistency. All you've ever known is breadcrumbing. All you've ever known is people not giving you that kind of love. And I feel like this collective, you need to acknowledge that the anxiety you have in relationships comes from the past partners that you've been with or attracted. Now that's something in the way song is in my head. That's probably why. It's even more confirmation that coming through right now. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, this is what wants to come forward. Like, the Ace of Wands in the reverse position is an omen that there's like an idea or an opportunity. There's something that wants to emerge, but it's stuck. Okay, and it's stuck because either A, you have a lack of direction, B, you're distracted, or C, there's just delays because of divine timing. Honestly, it could be all of the above, but because this is on top of that Nine of Swords, I feel like for a lot of you, what's blocking this beautiful relationship from coming forward is, one, you don't have, I love you, but you don't have enough self-love. You don't have a connection with yourself in the way that needs to happen in order to attract a partnership that's equal. Because right now, I don't want to say you're on the same wavelength as these shittier partners, but like essentially your lack of self-love is what's attracting people who don't love themselves. This is also part of what's created a bit of an anxious attachment style for this collective that's causing you to not be able to kind of push past it. You need to unpack this trauma in order to bring forward this energy. Now, the other thing they want me to mention, some of you need to be really mindful of distractions. Specifically, I'm seeing dating apps. All right, if you want real love, you might find it there in time, but right now you're not going to. And you know that. You know that like right now you're not in the right headspace to be dating. So you keep investing into these connections that ultimately aren't really meeting your standards because you yourself don't know what your standards are. Once again, like a lack of self-love. I did a reading like 2 days ago and the Ace of Wands was reversed. And then I had the Lover's card and I couldn't depict, and now it's making, yeah, there you go. Like, it's like you're standing in the way of this beautiful connection from coming forward because there's a part of you that isn't letting go of the aspects of your past that need to be let go of. And this doesn't mean you're holding on to people either. I want to kind of paraphrase this. Like, sometimes when we're holding on to things from our past, it's a mindset, it's a pattern, it's a narrative that we keep telling, it's a story we tell ourselves in our head. It doesn't always necessarily mean you're attached to an ex or a person. It's just you're attached to a mindset. And for a lot of you, I feel like this is more about a mental state than anything else, especially because of that Nine of Swords. Like, the Nine of Swords is very much in your head kind of energy. And I feel like Spirit's saying like, hey, we can push past this, but you have to be willing to push it. You have to be like, they're showing me this visual of like bulldoze. Like, you have to bulldoze through that. You have to push through that. Allow that light to come through. Remember in the very first tarot portion where we were talking about your career and like your finances and your stability, we talked about that light at the end of the tunnel, that light coming through, right? That's exactly what this collective is being guided to recognizing, is that light is here. You just have to do the grunt work to bring it in. I am not going to be y'all's favorite person today, and I understand that. But please remember, I am just a messenger. Yeah, literally, we have the Knight of Swords coming up in the reverse position. We have a lot of reversals showing up today, which goes really in alignment with that Temperance reverse from the first spread. Y'all wait. Y'all just wait. So you have the Emperor and the Empress in the same spread. Bottom of the deck, I do have the Five of Swords reversed. Interesting, because I always put my cards back up, right? So, and then we have the Magician, which made an appearance in both readings today. And that's on top of the Death card. Interesting. We will get to that. What we want to talk about first is this energy here. So remember how I said y'all want this kind of partner. You want a divine masculine. Whatever that looks like, remember that's just a title. You want someone who's stable, someone who's powerful, someone who's confident in themselves, someone who has their shit together and is stable within themselves. But what you keep attracting is this energy here, this Knight of Swords in the reverse position. So you keep attracting emotionally unavailable, avoidant energy, people that are very restless, very unfocused, who are probably really impulsive and who are burnt out. You attract this energy because there's an element of your own shadow that is in this position as well. And when you come to terms with that truth, the part of you that's emotionally unavailable or avoidant, that's when you're going to start to be able to kind of challenge it and go, okay, well, I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to attract this energy. And in order to attract this kind of energy, I have to poke at the parts of myself that are in this one. Not easy. Not an easy feat. I'm going to be real. But when you start to kind of ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Why am I afraid of love? Why am I emotionally unavailable? That's when you start to see the change in yourself and in your energy. That's also when you're going to notice a lot of doors. Like, I'm saying doors because I don't know how else to describe it. But it's also when you're going to notice a lot of doors that you still have kind of lingering open, cracked open, or like potential connection. You know what I mean? That's when you're going to notice those start to close. Whether it's like physical conversations happen where you gain the closure and you can be like, see ya, and you slam the door shut, or it just happens energetically within you. Either way, when you start to challenge the parts of you that aren't all that pretty, you're going to start to recognize where you're still kind of seeping energy, because that's ultimately what that is. When you have a door lingering open with somebody who you know isn't growing, isn't evolving, isn't becoming a better version of themselves, you are literally letting your energy leak out. And when you close those, yeah, I said, and when you close those And then we're moving into the Empress and the Queen of Wands, which such a power dynamic, these two cards, eh? Like, what a duo. I just immediately heard dynamic duo. So for those of you that were in our teaching last week, you already know that the Empress is all of the queens together, which is like the Emperor is all of the kings together. So this is an omen to me that the more this collective challenges the narratives in their mind that we were just talking about with that Emperor and the Knight of Swords reversed, the more powerful you're becoming within yourself. And for a lot of you, I feel like the way towards your Empress energy, your divine femininity, your divinity, whatever you want to call it, the way towards that is by embracing your spirituality, embracing your confidence, and embracing your creativity. And for some of you, I'm also hearing embracing your sexuality. So like being accepting of the fact that you're a sexual being. I don't know who needs to hear this, but just because you're a woman doesn't mean you have to hate sex. Doesn't mean you have to feel shame about liking having sex. Okay, that's a weird narrative because in my lived experience, women are more freaky than men, but hey. Something about the doves. Also seeing something about the snake in the background. Snakes to me always give me an omen of rebirth. Like you're shedding your skin and stepping into a new version of you. There's also something very symbolic about this collective's beauty right now because the Queen of Wands and the Empress together, like again, what a dynamic duo. But the Queen of Wands is usually about physical attraction and the Empress is about beauty. Some of you could be going through a bit of a glow up right now. If it's not, like, I don't know how to explain it because it doesn't feel like it's on the surface. It feels like this is more inward, and I feel like the inner work that you're doing is shining outwardly. I don't know how else to explain that. And honestly, it could just be because this collective is becoming more confident. You're starting to kind of like see yourself for who you are. There is also a combination with these two. I thought there was, and I had to look. You may be highly fertile at this time and are likely to conceive. So if you are sexually active, please be mindful and use protection. Unless you want a kid. If you want a kid, there you go. And then we have the Magician and the Death card. Clarifying each other. Which, honestly, look at these cards. I know there's a little bit of a glare from my lights, but like the background of this one and the background of this one are so similar. Like you see the colors matching. This is even more confirmation to me of what I said in the very beginning. Like in order for your manifestations to come, like remember the other deck, the other spread. In order for your manifestations to come in, you have to let go of the past. You have to let go of whatever you're holding on to that is not allowing space for what's meant to come in. I'm hearing something about fate. They look intense in the face. I know. The woman on that death card always freaks me out. I'm always like, why are you so mad? Something about protection work. Anyway, something about protection work could be important. One more before we end off the love portion. So we have the Three of Cups. Immediately seeing a lot of y'all in this position in the near future, and I love that for you. We have the Lovers. And then lastly, the Queen of Swords in the reverse. What did I say? You need to come to terms with the part of you that is emotionally unavailable. I say that with the utmost love and understanding, okay? But like, a lot of y'all, I'm just going to put this bluntly, a lot of y'all are really bitchy, you're really cold, you're really emotionally unavailable and detached. And that's causing you to, because that's also going on top of the Ace of Wands reversed and the Magician. So that idea, that connection, that thing that wants to emerge, your coldness, your cold-hearted, this is my favorite word, your cunty energy is literally blocking that opportunity from coming through. And Spirit's saying like, hey, this is very likely, what the opportunity is. with the Three of Cups and the Lovers. So this is giving like friends to lovers. It's giving like a slow burn, which is healthy, by the way. Relationships that take time to build and grow are the ones that you actually want to invest into. Relationships that start off really intense really quick and you're spending 24/7 together are usually not the healthiest, but hey, that's just my opinion. We can have a different one. This is what wants to come in. But you have to be real with yourself. You have to be real with the parts of you that aren't all that pretty. I'm just going to write that on every video now. Because I feel like for the last month, that's all I've been channeling. Which, again, is from a Pink song. I think it's called... Oh my god, why do I never remember? And I, your willing victim. Just give me a reason. Just a little bit's enough. Yep, that's it. Found it. I'm going to share it in the chat. And it's playing. And that will distract the absolute fuck out of me if I let that stay playing. Anyway, here we go. So I do feel like the more you let go, the more you kind of challenge the colder part of you, the more you challenge the part of you that might be a little bit easily influenced or, as I said, cold-hearted, the more you're going to start to celebrate the life that you've created and that you've built for yourself. And I feel like that's going to bring in a lot of beautiful new connections. This isn't even just romantic. Like, I feel like this collective is going to start attracting platonic people. You're going to start attracting opportunities. It's like the season of your blessings starts to open up when you challenge this part of you. Yes, I've heard 30 for 30. All right. So we were also pulled to this one here. I actually cannot. Yo. We're going to take the ones that hit the floor. That was insane. So we have also these two. I feel called to show the King of Wands is inverted over top of that Three of Swords. So that was insane. Also, y'all watched me cleanse this deck like 20-30 minutes ago. So the fact that that just happened is crazy. Okay, so this energy here is giving, I don't know how to explain this. There's definitely some heartbreak that is blocking something, but this Three of Swords is reversed, which is interesting. So that's saying like there is like a healing happening here. Because the Three of Swords, when it shows up in the reverse position, is like there is some negative self-talk, which could be part of what this is about. That makes sense. So the negative self-talk that this collective has when it comes to your inner self or your physical beauty or your work, like, I don't know, there's a lot of criticism internally. It's actually blocking you from embracing this part of you. So the King of Wands, when he's upright, is very powerful, very confident, very leadership driven. And I feel like this collective, because you still have this like inner judgment, this inner criticism, there's a part of you that can't fully embrace this position. And I do feel like it kind of puts you in the negative aspects of the King of Wands reversed. So there's a part of this collective that even though you're in this period of release, because the Three of Swords reversed is releasing, it's forgiveness, it's letting go, it's optimism, and seeing things in a more positive scope, there is still an aspect of this group that needs to work on your inner criticism. Because remember, this portion is the shadow work portion. So I feel like this group is being guided towards unpacking the part of you that has a tendency to be a little bit more negative towards yourself. Because this is where this energy is being blocked. And I'm seeing like this one in the reverse position is an omen of like aggressive goals, having really high expectations, poor leadership skills, a lack of personal direction. And I feel like this is where this collective was in the past. And part of that was because of this energy here. So it's like the more you challenge those negative thoughts, that inner criticism, like we talked about in that last portion as well, the more you're going to be able to shift into a more powerful position within yourself and your confidence is what I'm hearing. So we also have the Two of Wands coming up in the reverse, which has come up so much for the collective reversed lately. We also have the Hanged Man reversed. These were the cards that were on the table. These were the ones on the floor. Okay, so we have the Two of Cups. The Eight of Wands reversed. So many reversals for today's reading. The Empress reversed. And then the Nine of Cups reversed. Whew. Okay. I really feel like all of this ties into this energy. Okay? So it's like all of this here is this. This is the core theme, is what I just heard. So needing to process the part of you that's critical, the part of you that has a lot of self-doubt, that kind of neglects your needs, that talks down to yourself. That's the part of you that's asking to be acknowledged, that's asking to be healed currently. And I feel like because we have this Two of Wands and the Two of Cups clarifying each other, this is what's shifting. So the Two of Wands reversed is inner alignment. It tells me that even though you are currently struggling, even though you're feeling really down and out, is what I just heard again, you are shifting because you're starting to kind of challenge what your personal goals are, what they look like, what love means to you. You're starting to kind of pour inward, recognize your self-love, and the more you do that, the more you're shifting into that internal alignment. I do also feel called to mention some of you have a bit of a fear of the unknown, especially romantically. So you're a little bit worried what love is going to look like. You're unsure how things are going to pan out, but like you're not meant to know the answers to everything in life, babe. I know that's really challenging to hear, especially for those of us who struggle with control issues. But Spirit's saying that fear of the unknown is coming from a trauma response. And I feel like the more you let go of that, the more you're going to be able to shift forward. Now, there is something about a lack of planning for some of you. And take that however it resonates. I am sensing for some of you this correlates to your love life. Others of you, this is about your career or your life in general. You don't really know where you want to be in a year's time, which is valid, but you need to sit with that, is what they just said as well. So then we also have the Hanged Man reversed and the Empress reversed. And I think that's intriguing energy because the Hanged Man reversed is delays. It's resistance. It's stalling. It's indecision. It's like that visual I said. I think this was in the very first part of the reading. It's like that visual I saw of someone covering their eyes and dragging their feet in the dirt. This is because you are not accepting or acknowledging the parts of you that are a little bit codependent. So when when the Empress shows up in the reverse position, this is an omen of dependence on others. So there's a part of this group that could be stuck in a bit of a codependency cycle, and you're a bit resistant to letting go of that pattern, which is causing you to stay kind of trapped in this energy here, which if you think about it, goes really well with that Two of Wands in the reverse, where there's that fear of the unknown, right? I feel like a lot of you, part of the reason you're staying in this cycle, you're staying in this pattern is because it's familiar and you know what it looks like, you know where it goes. But one of the things that Spirit's encouraging you to challenge right now is this narrative so that you can kind of push beyond the limits in your mind and your illusions. I'm also being guided to mention some of you could be feeling really blocked creatively, and I feel like this is partly why. It's your resistance on repeat is all I keep hearing. And then we have the Eight of Wands and the Nine of Cups. Can we talk about how we have the exact amount of tarot that I would have pulled if I pulled cards myself? That's crazy. So these are both in the reversed as well. So like the Nine of Cups reversed, I don't love to see it, but I don't hate it either. Okay. Because two things can happen with this card. I don't know why I'm hearing two things can coexist at once, or like two things can be true at once. So the Nine of Cups in the reverse can indicate that you are shifting into a more internal, happy, kind of abundant energy. But the other side of it can indicate that you're a little bit unsatisfied with your current reality. You could be falling into a bit of an overly materialistic cycle, which aligns really well with that first portion of the reading today with the career and the money one, because we talked about an overspending habit, right? So some of you are equating materialistic things and ideas as a means to bring in happiness or dopamine, if you will, which is why, again, I'm hearing you need to treat yourself to like you don't need to spend a lot of money to treat yourself. You can literally buy yourself a single flower or do something that boosts your dopamine in a healthy way, okay? Because the Nine of Cups in reverse is indulgence, and it could be indulgence in substances. It could be indulgence in materialistic ideals. Take it however it resonates. But this energy is also kind of contributing to that blockage that we talked about with the sexual tarot deck. It's like you're blocking your blessings, baby, because you're allowing yourself to stay stagnant. You're allowing yourself to stay stuck. And this is because you are resisting change that needs to happen. Because the Eight of Wands reversed huge omen of a resistance to change. And with that Hanged Man being here in the reverse too, it's like Spirit saying your resistance is blocking the internal alignment that you desire to bring the life in that you want. It's what's creating frustrations and delays in your 3D and in your life because you're not allowing yourself to shift forward and above it. My headphones just died. I don't know if we're gonna need... Am I gonna need headphones? Do we have a lag? Can someone tell me? If we're gonna need... Am I gonna need headphones? Do we have a lag? Can someone tell me? If we're gonna need... Am I gonna need headphones? Do we have a lag? Can someone tell me? Are you going to connect? All right. They're connected. So that was the last bit. They died like right when I finished, so that was kind of crazy. The only other thing I want to do is this one. Okay. Does this not, like, stop it? This says time to go, and it's literally someone, like, running away. And then we have all the glitters isn't gold, and then not for you. So this is even more confirmation to me of everything we've talked about today. This collective needs to let go of the past, of people and situations in it in order to bring forward what you want in your life, okay? I'm going to read from the guidebook for these ones. If you don't want to hear that, you can leave the stream. That's totally okay. But they're telling me to. So, and then we'll leave, when I finish this, we'll leave the last little bit open for you guys to ask any questions, as usual. All right. So, all the glitters. Some of you are going to get a phone call or communication of some sort. I'm honestly seeing confirmation coming. I don't know what that means, but... So this is the first one here. I'm being immediately pulled to these masks and, like, the thing in the sky. Some of you are recognizing the masks that other people wear or the mask that you wear for society. Take it however it resonates. All right. A need to see beyond the superficial, the desire to don a mask or dress something up to disguise its true nature, trying to be something you are not, chasing after every sparkly new thing, being merciful. Hello. No idea. The Oracle's message, it's only human to want to adorn oneself in trinkets and paint a pretty picture of oneself. It's natural to want to acquire the trappings of status or to deny them as a statement of rebellion. But if it sparkles, is it actually better? Whether it's a fast car, a big house, a title, or a position, that stamp of authority, or a sparkling of diamonds, these icons let you know something about a person, place, or thing, or do they? The truth is that people seek to acquire things because of what they will do for them and how they symbolically will elevate them. Sorry, I don't know why I can't talk. And make them more attractive. This card signals that it's time to see beyond the adornments and probe underneath the surface. Learn to recognize the masks people wear and the motives underlying them. Imagine that all that glitters is gone. Would you still desire this object or this person? So this also has a relationship message they're guiding me to mention. Sometimes we try to become something we are not to impress others. We embellish a story a bit adding some dramatic elements to make us more appealing. The real person becomes hidden behind the sparkle and the shine. Then there are times when we don't see the true value of someone else because he or she may not have the glitz and glamour that seemed so desirable. Now is a time to look past the surface and beyond the mask, to the essence of a person. Who that person is, not what he or she has or can give you, is important. See beyond the glitter and look for the inner glow. Use the eyes in your heart and let go of the artifice and let what is authentic shine. If that doesn't align with everything we've talked about today, like, I'm just saying. This also ties into a prosperity message. Sometimes an opportunity looks so good that it glitters like gold, and you just can't resist it, especially when it appears others are doing so well and have hit the mother lode. During the American Gold Rush, everyone hurried west to find their fortune and then deserted entire towns after mining depleted the gold vines in the earth. So too can you deplete yourself if you chase after the latest shiny thing that has caught your eye. Interesting. So what's really intriguing to me is I almost posted a video earlier today on TikTok being like, some of y'all need to start recognizing when you're performative and recognizing when you're in that performative energy because you feel like you have to impress someone around you. When you are in that position, you are not being your authentic self. And in my lived experience, if people are attracted to the part of you that's performative and ego-based, those are people that, like, you probably don't want in your life anyway. You probably want the people around you who are going to like the authentic version of you more than the non-authentic version of you. Okay, and then this one is the not for you card. Something about the fortune cookie. Some of you could be having Chinese for supper. Unexpectedly, too. I'm seeing, like, coming home to it. So, essential meanings. A clear knowing that something is being denied to you. Rejection is God's protection. The oracle message. There are times when it appears that no matter how deeply you desire something, no matter how hard you work at something, the results you seek always seem to elude you. It's as if you don't really get to be in the game and you feel you're just watching from the sidelines. The appearance of this card indicates that you are not going to attain what you want right now, that indeed your dreams for that exact thing will not be fulfilled. This is a time to radically accept that not everything is available to you when you want it. Take heart, for there are benevolent forces who desire the best for you and have a much clearer idea of what is for your highest good. Rejection is God's protection. Something much better that will make you truly happy is on its way. Just trust this. The relationship message. Some relationships carry an innate seed of failure in them that is obvious from the beginning, but the red flags escape your observation or you refuse to acknowledge them. When a relationship is not meant to be, it is not possible to make it be. Rejection is a sign that you're being projected by the divine. If you are the one who must reject another, remember to do so for both your sakes. For every pot there is a lid. This may not be the best fit. And then the prosperity, you can strategize and project and systemize and invest all your time and energy, but sometimes your best laid plans seem to go awry. In spite of it all, keep in mind that no effort is wasted. Fail fast and learn from defeat, then keep going. You will eventually succeed, although perhaps not all is not at this game, not at this time. Know when to fold your cards. Interesting. Anyway, that was that. Do we have any questions before we end the stream today? Sometimes I'm like hyper aware of my posture. Is that just a me thing? I'm like, oh my god. Also, I should throw that out. The way it took me streaming to notice that next to my bed. I do the same thing. Well, at least I'm not alone. Chinese food sounds good. It does. Like, as soon as I said it, I was like, do I want Chinese later? I have to meal prep today, and I'm like, ugh. I hate when my Discord glitches. Thank you for these, BTW. Of course. I actually enjoy Twitch more than other platforms. I forgot I was wearing makeup. Shit. Yeah, I enjoy doing this more than I do on... I mean, I shouldn't say more than Patreon, because I enjoy that too, but I don't know. I have beef with TikTok right now. Like, I have 2 readings recorded that I will post eventually, but, like, I don't know, man. But anywho, since we don't have any questions, I'll probably end today's stream. We will be back Thursday morning for the teaching, which I don't remember what cards we're on now, but I think it's like the Hierophant, the Emperor. No, we did the Hierophant. I don't know. We'll see. On Thursday morning, we'll see, but we're still learning the tarot. We're working our way through the major arcana right now, and then we will go through the minors as well. I'm probably not going to do each individual minor card because we'd be here forever. I'm probably going to do them as suits. So we'll do like the cups together, and then we'll do the earth, like the pentacles together, and so on and so forth. But that will probably be another like 2 or 3 weeks. I would say mid-March, maybe even beginning of April. That'll probably be when we start learning that, because the major arcanas are more important, in my opinion. All the tarot cards are important, but the major arcanas have more information and they're more in-depth, which means we're going to spend more time on them. But yeah, that'll be Thursday, and it's again 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then if you don't catch me then, you can come back next Tuesday for our live stream, which is crazy that that's going to be the 24th of February already. February has flown by. But yeah, I love y'all. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope to see you on Thursday. If I don't, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And I will catch you whenever I see you next.